The one thing that I would like to draw your attention to is what we cover and what we do not cover in our MA development program, right? So that you're very clear about what you're getting into and what you can expect reasonably to find here in your next 2 years. So MA development program, you see it's a development program. It's not a development studies program, or it's not a development management program. It's not a rural management program. These are courses that you very often find being offered by different institutions in India, right? What does that mean? Why do we say it's development and not development studies or development management? The idea basically is that here we are trying to understand development broadly in 2 ways through this program. One of them is that we understand development as a planned social change. It's not any social change, it's a planned social change. By that, we mean that it's a change that is in some sense better than non-planned changes, right? So there are certain ways in which we think our societies, as Rajshri was earlier mentioning, our societies should develop. That is, there are certain ways in which they should change, and there are certain ways in which they should not change. So the focus of the program is on ways in which we imagine change being good to our society, right? So that's one focus of our program, that we are trying to convey to our students ideas about how good change takes place and how that good change can be brought about quicker perhaps, right? So that's one idea, right? The second is, following from the first, that we also look at ways in which good change can be prescribed to institutions that are in the theater of change, let's say. NGOs, research bodies, government institutions, those who develop, the developing institutions, right? So the idea are twofold. One, that we study development as a process of positive social change. Second is, we also understand development as a prescriptive social change, where our students come to know about ways in which other societies have developed and how we can learn from them and develop our societies in a way we want them to, right? That's what we are trying to do. This course is not completely prescriptive, and hence it's not completely managerial course. It's not an MBA in rural development, right? It's a social science course because we are trying to understand change as well, right? The other important implication of understanding development in this way is that we think of development as largely an interdisciplinary field here, right? Unlike MBA in rural development or MBA in rural management, our program here is completely interdisciplinary, and interdisciplinary in a way that I can say, because I have taught here for 5 years, very few institutions in India are. We are interdisciplinary not only within social sciences, that is, our programs are cutting across history, sociology, politics, economics, and they cut across social sciences to go into natural sciences as well. For example, we have a core course called Ecology and Development, where we understand more biological or biophysical aspects of ecology, right? Someone who has studied zoology or botany or physical geography would have a sense of this, that we are trying to understand interdisciplinarity, not within social sciences, but also outside of them. And that's what our courses try to do. They integrate, right? The third thing is, and I'm going to be repeating a bit, but I think that's important to the argument that I'm trying to make here, that our course is not completely a theoretical course, okay? Although we do not say it clearly that it's a course in MA development action, but largely the idea is that we expect our students to finish their course and go back and work on development at the grassroots, right? That is a solid expectation. And our courses are also organized accordingly, where whatever theoretical models are being conveyed to you or you're learning about them, the idea is how do they translate at the grassroots? How can we better understand or better serve people with our theoretical models? The idea is not to, at least at this level, the idea is not to, equip you with pure research skills. Not that. The idea is, even if we have a course in ITR, that is Introduction to Research, the idea is to give you research skills so that you're able to work at the grassroots level. So that's very clear, that we are looking at our graduates as development professionals. Okay? If you do not like field work, then you will find this course difficult, right? Although I should also say that many of our students, not a lot, but at least a good number of our students also do go to do research work or do go to do their PhDs and all of that, but the institutional expectation is that you go back and work where such work is needed or such talent is needed, as Rashi was saying earlier, right? The composition of the course you have been told about. I think the the theory and practice bit has also been talked about. The components are quite similar to how they are in the MA education program. That is, you have an immersion program in your first semester where you go and spend about 2 weeks living ideally in a rural area. That's where our students have been going. You stay within an NGO in a community. You understand the realities of rural India. You understand how NGOs work in rural India. You look at ways in which those services can be improved. That's in the first semester. Then at the end of second semester, you have a field project, if I'm not mistaken. Field project where you work again with an NGO. At the end of your third semester, that's 6 weeks internship, where you have a mentor from the institution and you go back and work at the grassroots level, right? So roughly this is what the program is aiming at.